Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, I can't say fortunately or unfortunately because, it's a good thing when something's not broken, but, boy, I gotta clean this. My problem has been with the turn signal, and now I've narrowed it down to the right, turning right. So I'm going to check the LED on the front. Those are the more recent ones that I hooked up, the Trail Gear LED turn signals. I'm going to check the rear, the housing, on the rear passenger side turn signal. And then I wanted to show what happened with my alarm. The reason that it wouldn't go off, it was purely coincidental. I was digging in here on the flasher relay and all that stuff, which you can see right there. Okay. And replacing the fuse on the engine fuse, which is another topic, but Toyota, in their infinite wisdom, just like with the headlights, they tied the turn signal to the engine fuse, which is also your charge fuse. So all the way up the mountain, once I blew this, turning it right, and blew the oil pressure, temperature, voltage, and tachometer. They all blew out, and the gas gauge was the only one working. I didn't know I wasn't charging all the way up the mountain. So I got up top of the hill and got to the hotel, and it was, very low, like 11.5 volts, and it normally runs at 12.5. So, talking with Rad, Forerunner, kind of narrowed it down to being something within this signal, because the hazards are doing that where they're both dim in the rear. And when I do the hazards, I'll give you an example. You can see the dash lights are very dim. The left one is brighter than the right. It's not going to show voltage because I don't have the key on, but you can see. Let me dim the... There. You can see the left is pretty bright, but trust me, it's not very bright. It's not very bright compared to the signal, which I'll show you. And here is this side. Very dim. Okay, this housing is completely intact. No moisture is getting in there. I've added the antenna for the CB through there, but it's not really coming anywhere near the wiring. So now I will turn the key on and turn the hazards off. Rad Forerunner was explaining to me that the hazards are tied to the signal, so if either signal is bad, it's going to have a short. So it's tied to the flasher. Now all my gauges are working, and it also blows out your dummy lights.
Because our country does not require somebody to be...
Okay, so you can see the voltage, right? So my voltage when I turn left, and it's bright, right? That signal. You don't see it move at all. You turn right, and it starts really hopping, and that one's really dim. So if I turn my left signal, you'll see how much brighter it is. All right? And then when I turn the right, it will blow the fuse eventually one of these times when I turn it. But for now, I'll just show you. See how dim it is? So I definitely have a problem in that circuit, and we went through the alarm. Went by the alarm installer, and he did a really clean job. He showed me everything he did, and it's actually very clean. So it's not the problem. It was just a coincidence. And here's what I did. Reaching up in here in the dash, what is called a valet button. Okay? And there, it's focused. Okay, so you can see that's a little button. You push that so that the alarm doesn't go off when mechanic's working on your car or whatever. Okay, so you can hear my flasher relay is working. Now I don't know if it's having a problem going right more than left, so I'll turn it right and I'll show you the front. Try to cover the light here again. Sorry, I'm kind of dimming the camera out by covering this, but you can see it's pretty bright. And I don't think it's any brighter than the left turn signal. Up front. The problem is, I'll look over the video and see what I think. I had to undo the wiring here to get to this. With Ray, I used the original connector. and never had any problems before, so it's definitely worth looking into that. Or the rear tail light. So I'm going to unplug the rear tail light, right turn, right side, passenger side, and see if when I turn right with the light disassembled and unplugged, if I still get the same voltage drop. If I do, then I can kind of narrow it to that before I tear all this apart. If I don't, I'm going to have to get into here, and it's likely, you know, this being done a million times, and the washers and cruise control being used 1,000th of the amount of times, this is probably worn out. And it's just, you know, maybe I can fix it or repair it, I don't know. So that's that for now. I just wanted to share that's what was going on, and the alarm is fine. There is nothing wrong with it at all. I will demonstrate that. As soon as I got my spare alarm remote out, which doesn't have the two-way, I'll show you mine. Mine has the, you know, Viper two-way, and it goes off in your pocket. So if your alarm goes off, it tells you. But now it works. So the siren wasn't working. The fuses were both good. I couldn't figure it out. And basically what I had done was push that valet, which is similar to pushing one of these buttons on the side. It's like an asterisk button. I hadn't done that because all I had done was turned right, so I wasn't anywhere near the keys. So that's that. Time for a bath.